We are live. Hello, hello, everyone. My name is Davonne Reaves, your host of Hotel Ownership Unplugged, coming to you all bi-weekly from the 5th and 28th of each month because my birthday is May 28th. And so there's no, I get questions. So why is it 5/28? Why is it the 5th and 28th of each month? Because that's my birthday. So every month is my birthday, even though I just celebrated a birthday. Anyway, so I am here with my brother in the industry, Mr. Head, Mr. Omari Head. And and if y'all hear some background noise, I'm actually in Hilton Head, South Carolina. So this is my first time here, staying in the hotel, of course. And I'm just so far I got a chance to experience some great hospitality. So shout out to the Hilton right on the beach. So great. Wait, can we see it? There we go. Great view. All right, free promo. But today we typically talk about different topics regarding hotel ownership. But today we are talking about leading the future of hospitality. I actually was I don't know if you and I spoke about this at length, but I just got the phone with another friend in the industry, and it's just a challenge and something I talked about before, as far as how can we keep this next generation alive? You and I, we have a podcast with Chris, and now you have your new role, which is why you're on the show, to talk about you being the executive director of the program at Howard University. So, Mr. Omar Head, can you please introduce yourself? Let everybody know who you are in that new title. So, congratulations on your new role.
Yes, yes, and happy belated birthday. I thought I was on the show because I was voted most likely to succeed in kindergarten. So I thought
You
y'all were
know what? You
tracking me.
are, and you probably did. I mean, you probably are in that class, and your kindergarten class. Okay,
Well, I made it here. I made it here. So
there you go.
I'm definitely out here succeeding. So good afternoon, everybody. Greetings, Omari Head. I am the executive director of the Marriott-Sorenson Center for Hospitality Leadership, seated at Howard University. We are an interdisciplinary non-degree granting center seated at the university. What does that mean? Meaning that we currently don't have any academics surrounding hospitality. What we do is work with students from various majors, from various colleges, and help them understand what hospitality means at the intersection of their current degree that they're pursuing. So our students that we refer to them as scholars. They are pursuing bachelor's degree in business, marketing, finance, supply chain. We have MBA students, we have JD MBA students, and these are folks that may not be interested in the hotel operation side, but more so in some of those supporting roles. Chief legal officer. They're interested in franchise development. They're interested in corporate finance. They want to be senior vice president of financial planning and analysis. They have those They have those kind of trajectories and focuses. And what the center does is help them get prepared for those roles. So we are truly focused on leadership for the next generation of hospitality. So it's quite the undertaking. It is a good addition to my higher ed experience, and obviously my passion and professional world and the career of being a broker and an advisor, right? And understanding intimately what it means to be in some of these rooms, the skill sets that's needed to be there, and more importantly, the skill sets that's needed to stay and be successful and have a sustainable career. Oh, you froze up, sis.
Uh-oh, Amari, is that you or me that's breaking up?
That was you. I got you
Okay,
back.
was that you or me that was breaking up? So we
It
got
was
some.
you.
Oh, okay, okay. So, so it was. So we shout out to Davin from David. That's what people actually call me. To be quite honest, so funny. People call me David. Um, so shout out to David from Trinidad and Tobago in the
Hey,
Caribbean. Thank you for tuning in. And we have a question, and then our good friend Tommy Bayer. What's up,
Tommy, what's happening, brother? How
Tommy?
you doing?
And so would I be interested in purchasing a property in Tobago? No, I would not. But thank you for thank you
Gotta
for the
shoot my
offer.
shot. Gotta shoot my
Yeah.
shot.
Hey, I appreciate the hustle. I appreciate the hustle. I was at a graduation, Georgia State University graduation. They were selling flowers outside. And I was like, how much are the flowers? I was there for a grad for my mentee. Hey, Miss Darlene. And he said $55. I was like, no, sir, not when I can get a bigger bouquet at Costco's for half the price. No,
When
sir.
you could get the whole floral shop. That's crazy.
I said, I appreciate the hustle. They will not be getting $55 of flowers today. So, Omari, I got a chance to meet some of your students. Actually, I just had your students on our Next Gen Lodging podcast. They won the She Has a Deal competition.
For sure.
I know you've been exposing them to the different careers and bringing them to the different conferences and bringing them, just exposing them into the different side, into more of the ownership transactional side, and how that their skills and their knowledge can be transferable to the hospitality industry. You know, my thought is, and I've been saying this for years, as I mentioned earlier in the show, that I started off as a front desk agent. What's up, Andrew? Okay, we got under 30 Gateway checking in today. What's up? What's up?
What's happening?
And so okay, shout out to Andrew. Yo, he takes like the best pictures. Okay. I just be like stalking him on his Facebook page. I be like, oh my gosh, this is so dope. I be like, this is so cool. Like, Andrew, I gotta get you on my show soon, buddy. But anyway, so going back to the leading the future hospitality. With AI and technology, a lot of people are scared. One thing, and they actually mentioned this at the NYU conference last year when I was in attendance, that I think AI will replace the hospital. I know will have an impact on the hospitality industry, but this is the service industry, right? It's just certain things that IA won't. I mean, AI will be able to fix, right? But there is an issue, and I want to hear your thoughts on the next generation in lodging, meaning a lot of people leaving the industry. Like you and I, we started off in ops, both in the front desk. I think you did some housekeeping too, and we're no longer on the operation side. So it's a lot of people. Andrew, he's still in the operation side. He's still thugging it out. Tommy, who was on here, he was in operations, but now he's on the ownership transactional side. So a lot of folks are leaving the operations, which is needed in order for our industry to grow and to provide the level and quality of service that's needed for our industry to grow. So what are some of the things um, that you're doing or implementing for that answering the issue as far as what the next generation in lodging looks like?
Yeah, great question. So as far as folks leaving the ops side, we are not necessarily solving for that. We do have some students that would be interested in operations, but most of our students are more so in the operation. They want to be in the operational supporting capacities. So what we do is help people close that gap. If you are looking for operators, I definitely know some universities and some programs that have strong focuses on that. But if you're coming to our center and you're talking to a general finance major that has 2 certifications in hospitality and has been a member of a hospitality association, they may be geared a little bit differently. Now, in terms of the talent that is leaving operations, there are some really good solutions that are out there. So primarily they're starting to, some of the companies, management companies and brands are starting to focus on and looking and saying, well, hey, where's all of the talent? And the answer is,
Jameer saying hi.
oh, what's happening, son? I love it. Had to make his cameo. I love it. So a big piece of it is that folks have to know where to look. So that could be a 2-year institution, right? That could be an apprenticeship. And the big thing that while we're having a whole conversation about a talent gap, and then people are ignoring it, that we also have another issue with immigration. So all of these things are bundled in together when we start talking about the talent gap. The good thing about hospitality operations is that it's very clear path. It's a clear path. You do these things, you make it to GM. Tommy was probably one of the youngest GMs I had ever seen, right? I remember we did.
Yeah. I was just saying that.
Like,
Yeah.
being a GM before 30, and I was mind blown, right? Like, how does this happen? A lot of that has to do with market and some other things, but you know, so if you can make those level of accomplishments, the other thing is, well, what's next? Not everybody wants to stay in the GM seat. Now, there are some GMs that make very good livings, right? A lot of them do. So, but again, kind of going back to it, is that because of the way that our industry is structured, it's a very clear path, and that on ramp is very, very wide. So you can be a GM that has an MBA or a DBA, or you could be a GM that's a high school dropout. And you can still make, $400,000 depending on what market you're in, what asset type. That's very attractive about our field. Now, again, if you went and got a 4-year degree and you paid $40,000 a year, you might wrestle with that data point, right? In terms of what does that look like, and you want to go someplace where there's probably less competition. Because think about it, you don't have that in medicine where it's just like, oh, you're a doctor, yeah. Well, I just did 4 online certifications and voila, and you're like, I did 7 years of med school. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen with being an airline pilot. It doesn't happen with some of these other things. The on ramp is very wide, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that there's talent going to be able to be found in a lot of different places for a lot of different capacities. And I do find value in operations. And what we always talk to the students is about the importance of understanding how ops maneuvers, how it impacts the financials. All of those things are crucial for making you a top tier asset manager, acquisitions consultant, broker, advisor. There's a myriad of roles, financial planning, where understanding the operations are going to be crucial.
So, talk heavily. We've created. I'm still amazed how we've been able to do this. We've created this community for aspiring Black hotel owners. To date, you and I have collectively probably created over 200 hotel owners and investors in the span of over 6 years. And let's have this conversation about operations. Uh, how important that is for a hotel owner, right? It's people think it's all great, but really people is what makes the hospitality industry move and continue. And so the fact that you're bringing your background and experience from ops and the transactional side on how that is important and how it's crucial, um, for folks to take care of employees and for folks to really understand the operational side. So this is your first year. Now, what are some of your goals? Let's say we have some Howard students listening in. One of my good friends, her daughter just got accepted into Howard. So
Hey.
what are some of the things that you are looking to do and accomplish during your time while you are the executive director?
Quite frankly, the quick answer is change the world, change the face of the industry. And as cliche as that sounds, that is the absolute fact. That is the goal. How do I plan on going about doing that? First of all, have an amazing team. And number one. Number two is having amazing students. The Howard student is truly special, amongst the best and the brightest. And then number three is, what does it look like if we take this journal finance student, the supply chain student, and we have a very programmatic approach to hospitality? So what do I mean? We're not just sending you into a hospitality class where you're learning intro to hospitality, and then you go through all the different batteries that you would have to do, like I did in undergraduate. I went to University of Nevada, Las Vegas, was a hospitality administration major. So in addition to their classwork, because again, our center is non-degree offering, we're helping them get the certifications in hospitality. So if you're a finance major, well, let's make sure that you have a CHIA certification, a Certificate Hotel Industry Analytics. Let's make sure that you join HFTP, Hospitality Finance Technology Professionals. Let's make sure that you go ahead and get your certificate in USALI, Uniform Systems of Accounting for the Lodging Industry, so that way when you go out into industry, while you may not have a 4-year degree in hospitality or even a 2-year degree in hospitality, you have your core business degree focused in finance, you have these certifications, and you have this comprehension of the industry. at a very high level, but also practical level, because you went out there and got these industry recognized certifications. So that's a big piece of how our center is getting the next generation prepared. The next thing is also just really helping them get developed with their own social capital, right? Making sure that they're in the network, that they had a chance to sit down and have dinner with somebody like a Davonne, that they had a chance to sit down and understand what it means to to want to be in the hotel business, or understand what it means to be in the food and beverage business, right? A lot of people may turn their nose up at quick service restaurants, but you don't always have to be the person flipping the burger or dropping the chicken. There's somebody that's ordering the burgers. There's somebody that's ordering the chicken, and they do not sit inside of a restaurant. They may sit inside of a corporate office. So having that level of understanding in terms of all of the things that are offered, specifically in terms of being a franchisee, being franchisee support, corporate level finance, that is what we're giving them an understanding of. So our students just in the last academic year have had a chance to go to corporate offices for spirit manufacturers and distributors. They've had a chance to be in a corporate office for convention and visitor bureaus, meeting with all of the C-suite. They've had a chance to meet with gaming executives. And what they're also finding out is that what a lot of hospitality students found out, like ourselves, very late in the game, is like a lot of these people in the senior level positions don't have hospitality degrees.
I was just about to say it. Yeah, because I went to, I went to the Georgia State University. So shout out Go Panthers. I actually sit on their board for the CCB Day School of Hospitality, and that's the school. I'm a proud alum of the school, but it's very focused on operations, hotel operations. And to your point, once I got in the industry, I realized that a lot of people with a lot of the execs, a lot of the corporate level people, none of them worked in a hotel. None of them, they don't have hospitality degrees. And so I noticed the majority of the people who I've come across who've had hospitality degrees, they worked in operations. They didn't work on that corporate side. I mean, if they did, someone like a Tommy, you, or, or myself, we have the hospitality background, worked in a hotel and worked our way up and transitioned into ownership. So you don't see that quite too often. But to your point, a lot of the people, a lot of the C-suite, senior execs, I don't have the data to back it up, but just from the people who I've met, majority of them, they don't have a degree in hospitality, so they're bringing a different industry perspective, into our industry, whether if it's architect, marketing, graphic design, just the technology space, right? They're just coming in like, hey, you know what? I'm an expert in marketing. I may have never worked in a hotel, but I understand marketing, right? Um,
Absolutely.
and so the fact that you're exposing, your students, because wasn't this the first year that Howard that Howard won as She Has a Deal?
Yes, yes. So first HBCU to participate, came in with two teams. Both teams made it to the finals, and one team actually won. And again, think about that. A lot of the students that compete are hospitality students, right? So
Mhm.
these are folks that have been in the classroom for a few years and are students, and a lot of that has to do with because they are Howard University School of Business, and that is a very intensive program. You combine that with what our center provides, and surrounding them with that support to helping them get that fast tracked industry knowledge of, okay, you all are interested in and participating in She Has a Deal in a hotel pitch contest. Like, okay, let me put you in touch with this hotel broker. Let me put you in touch with this. Make sure you have to understand these things. Have you talked to somebody in lending, and picking apart the deal, and right, and not just having me pick apart the deal, having somebody that owns a hotel management company, have somebody that owns 3-4 hotels, having somebody that sold, hotels in that market that may have sold that hotel, understanding the questions to ask to help them get to the yes or the no, to also help them be able to articulate with confidence when they're on the stage, and they're having their analysis and their pitch picked apart by industry execs, right? And you've been part of it. You've coached winning teams. Like like these people
Oh
have
yeah, I was the first winning coach. Okay, you know I'm competitive. You know I gotta drop my T. Okay,
the
but
first
no,
winning coach. I love that.
right,
So you fast forward and then you look at where we are now. I think this was just season 6. And I mean, I don't think any executive up there had less than 20-25 years of experience in hospitality, right? So these are people that
right,
have intimate knowledge about something that somebody else has just gotten, exposed to for sub 36 months, right? And then you take our scholars where it was maybe sub 24 months. So it's a good outcome, and it demonstrates, and this is the first of many, right? Of many places where you'll continue to see us compete. Again, we're not anti hotel operations at all. We definitely embrace that. We encourage, or let me say, just not just
they're
hotel.
business students. No, but I mean they're business students. It's a different brain. It's a different skill set. I know some people they love operations. They don't want to get on the corporate side. Like they just
That
don't.
was me.
Um,
That was
you
me. I didn't
know,
want no parts of it. And there's reasons why, right? There's some people that are neurodivergent and they're like, I just don't want to look at spreadsheets all day. There's some
right.
people
Or they
where
miss talking to people.
that part, yeah, that's real. Like they don't have an interest in necessarily working from home. It's how you're wired. And keep in mind, so our center is interdisciplinary. So it's not just School of Business students, right? So we started out as part of School of Business, but it's expanded now. So when you see our center in the next 3 to 4 years, you're going to have students that are pursuing degrees in interior design. You're going to have students that are pursuing their degrees in healthcare. And somebody may say, like, well, how does that relate? Well, if you look at some of the larger hospitality companies, specifically on the lodging side or contract food service, big healthcare component, right? Like that is significant. We have students right now, majority School of Business, like I said, law school, graduate students as well. But I mean, there's a place for environmental sciences. You take the gaming industry, for example, right? A company like MGM. MGM hires everybody from front desk to marine biologists to pilots. Now, you may not think to look at those places, but yeah, they own planes because they're flying those ballers in and out, right? So
Right.
they need
Yeah.
airline mechanics, they need pilots, they need marine
What?
biologists because
You
of
know, Jameer want to be a pilot one day.
tell them pull up, tell them pull up. We'll get them a spot in Vegas and tell them to have Uncle O suite ready on the regular. Uh, so I mean, they're hiring marine biologists. The what do you call it? Mandalay Bay has the shark tank. People may not think to look in these places, and be clear, they're not
Right.
hiring 20 of them, but they are hiring them, right? There's a place
Mhm.
for all of these people. Supply chain. You don't think about these careers, and a lot of times, and let's be clear, they 80 to 85% of their needs are in the operational touch points and the customer facing. And that's great. And we may not be the best fit for that at all times. We will definitely refer, companies out. But we're always about sharing the message and making sure that folks understand that what you're getting is a solution to the industry that the industry has been saying that they needed for years. And I'm going to nerd out on you for a bit. You and I have a lot of friends that went into hospitality that became recruiters. And the unfortunate stereotype about hospitality students that we were a very high EQ, right? We were great, highly sociable people, highly emotional intelligence, great on the soft skills, but the hard skills were not there. People were complaining that these hospitality students didn't understand
Right.
Excel. They couldn't.
Right.
The writing skills may have
I was
not been
look.
good.
I was one of them. I was the one that they didn't like. Yeah.
Look, I got good at Excel because I was in brokerage, right? I mean that's what I got good with Excel. But yeah, on the operations side, not so much. I can handle a guest ready to cuss me out. I can handle
Oh
5
yeah.
guests
Let's go.
cussing me
What
out
what
back to
what
back.
what you got, baby? I'm
Not a
good. What you
problem.
need, baby? You gonna leave with a smile? What's up?
For sure. I loved it. That was my challenge. That was my pivot table. That was what I looked forward
Right.
to. But
Yeah.
but what happened was that the industry was like, we're missing some of those things, right? And it got more
Mhm.
difficult, tying back into your first point in terms of AI, just technology in general, to make sure that
Mhm.
this person was going to be able to elevate. Like, how do you elevate the overall business? Like, there's
Right.
managers and there's leaders. Managers maintain, leaders move forward. They want leaders. Our center is focused on leadership. So we are solving that problem that the industry has said that they wanted solved for years, because they're saying that they are just not finding that in the average, keyword average is always above average, hospitality students. We are that. But they wanted a solution for that, and here it is. It's innovative, it's revolutionary. We have great corporate partners. We just announced a partnership with Donahoe Hospitality, where it's a
I
very
saw
unique
that.
internship.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, sis. I mean, it's a bespoke internship. It's something that I wished existed when I was in undergrad, where we're giving them that a high level of exposure to specifically the lodging industry, and they're getting operation. They're understanding corporate F&B, all of these different aspects. And as long as folks have a creative and thoughtful approach to it, there's an opportunity there, because as you fast forward and people want to jump into entrepreneurship, which is the problem that you and I've been trying to solve for years, and working with some of our other good friends and allies out there, is that's the disconnect. You have people that have capital and don't understand the industry, and you got people that understand the industry. They got 20 years as a GM, but they haven't necessarily been above property, and that's a very
Right.
different world above
It
property.
is. It
What
is
happens
a different
outside of that
world.
PL, sis?
Yeah,
And like
I
a lot of
tried to
cats,
explain it to them.
they don't have the scope into that. So they're like, "Oh, I've been a GM for 8 years," and it's just like, yeah, but that ownership
Yeah, it's
world is
different.
like, when I show you
It's
underwriting, you still likely don't know what you're looking at. Very different world. So how do we create a product that solves for all of those things? And our scholars are out there demonstrating and ready to continue to demonstrate that they're going to be the solution for that for the industry.
so we have some. So okay. So one question before we leave. So let's just say I'm a student at Howard University, and how could I join, or how could I be a part? Like, what's the process to be a student of the center?
Yeah, great question. First thing is, we have a lot of events throughout the year that are open. They're not just exclusive to scholars. You can definitely find us on the School of Business website, Marriott-Sorenson Center for Hospitality Leadership. We're located on the fifth floor, School of Business. Make an appointment with myself. Make an appointment with Miss Omishori. Reach out to us and keep an eye out for our programming. I mean, last year we did some pretty awesome events, everything from, like I said, dinner with a Black woman hospitality owner and tech founder to,
Oh, that was great. That was so much fun.
that was.
You had to kick
Uh,
me out. You was like, Davonne, these kids gotta wake up in the morning.
That's right, because I mean, this is what we love to do. Like, we'll talk to them all night. I mean, tours of corporate offices, tours of luxury hotels, meeting with hospitality executives. We did what's called a REIT week, where we had the real estate investment trust come in and talk about what they did, everything from what their kind of investment thesis is, all the way down to their ESG platform. So we offer a very, very unique experience. It's a 2-year intensive cohort. That's for some folks, and then we also have an associate membership level available as well, significantly less intensive, which allows you to still participate in a lot of events. But yeah, that's the best way to find us. Obviously, social media, LinkedIn, Instagram. I think on Instagram it's HU Hospitality. I may have that wrong, but definitely on LinkedIn. So very, very easy to find right there.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, I appreciate you, Mr. Head, Mr. Omari Head, for coming through on my monthly hotel ownership unplugged. I was doing weekly, but I was like, nah, I'm a stay in line and on brand and do it on the 5th and 28th. So thank you for tuning in to my show and bringing some information on your new role, and for the center at Howard University. I think is great. I met your students; they're absolutely amazing. And I met them twice. I met them at NYU before you worked there, and then I met them again when you invited me to dinner, and I got a chance to talk with all of them and share some stories. And they're just phenomenal, and they reached out to me, so I told them to make sure they stay connected. So thank you again. Thank you for the folks that tuned in, and I will see you all on the 28th. And yes, thank you, Andrew. I got to bring you on, buddy, and to the show. And thank you, Miss Darlene Benjamin. Oh, we had a question that said, oh, okay. It says Benjamin D said, make sure you visit Tobago someday in the future. Tobago is looking to expand its tourism sector. Right now, the establishment of the Sandals Resort is there under discussion. Okay, great. And it says, do I know about Tobago? No, I don't. I've heard of it. It is not on my list for upcoming travel. It sounds like you're trying to get me to change my mind. And but I appreciate you for shooting your shot and for shooting it's a Trinidad and Tobago shot. It's on my list, but not within the next couple of years. I got some other countries that I'm going back to, starting with Belize. So I
Hey,
appreciate you. Thank you, Juliet. Oh my goodness, it's been a while. Christy, Christina, Kimberly, Tommy. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you all next time.
peace, y'all. Peace.
Bye.